Okay, so Joe, today I want to talk about something that I think is quietly sabotaging a lot of really smart solopreneurs. And I got to say, I haven't always followed this advice with our messaging, so I feel like it's time to look in the mirror and help other people with it. And I feel like I've been talking about it a lot this week, so maybe I'll get off my high horse next week. but
That's all right.
the thing that I think is sabotaging smart solopreneurs, it's not their offer, their pricing, even their marketing channels, it's that they're speaking to the wrong identity of their persona. And so I want to walk through 3 identities again that can coincide with the buyer's journey, but those are the problem identities, the process identity, and the product identity. And Joe, you and I this week, we've been talking about speaking to problems versus speaking to the journey. And I kind of want to walk through each of these 3 identities to see how people might be able to tweak their messaging depending on the current identity of their audience. Does that all make sense so far?
Yeah, so far.
Okay. So the first is there is a problem. There is the problem identity of your audience. So who's your audience right now? This is clearly the place to get started because it's where they are right now. And the problem identity is who your audience sees themselves as in the moment. They're overwhelmed. They're behind. They're not consistent. They're not doing enough. And the mistake that I see a lot of solopreneurs make is that they stop here with their messaging. They only talk to the pain points. And again, this is where I think I have put my foot in my mouth in the past because I have also done this.
No. I think we've all done this because I think it was kind of in vogue for a while, right?
Yeah.
Pain points.
And it matters because people need to
Yeah.
feel seen. But the truth is that no one wants to stay in the problem phase. Your audience doesn't want to continue feeling that way. And they don't want to have that reinforcement of yeah, I am overwhelmed. Yeah, I am failing. Yeah, I am behind. Um, so they start resisting your messaging because you keep reinforcing an identity that they're trying to outgrow. So it's important to speak to those problems, but don't build your house there. Let's say you need to address it, but then there's more messaging that needs to come into play.
I really believe that the way I think about it, which, you can take it or leave it, but I look at it at pain points as being a good scroll stopper, right? If I've got a pain point and I see that pain point identified in something, I go, oh, yeah, and it's like that stops me, but it isn't going to necessarily convert me because sure, it's pain. It's a pain point I have. There it is on the screen. I don't know why I'm going to buy that product just because they know what's wrong. It doesn't mean they can solve it.
Totally. And so I'm glad you said that because from a conversion standpoint, they have to go through a process to convert, right? So that goes to the process identity. Who do they want to be during the process of this conversion? And I would say this is the messaging step that most people skip because process identity is who your audience wants to be on their journey, not just the final result, not where they started, but in the transformation. So they don't just want more clients. They want to feel capable or strategic or consistent. They need to be seen in that journey. And this is huge because people don't just buy the outcome either. They don't buy the problem, but they don't just buy the solution. And so they need to be spoken to in the version of themselves in the process. Do I still have you?
Yeah, but I'd never thought about that before.
Yeah.
So that's new to me.
Yeah. So I guess for us, let's say just for Lifestart, they don't just want a business. They want to feel like someone who has a plan for their business, knows what to work on. They aren't guessing. And then the outcome is a successful solopreneur. There is the product identity or who they believe they'll be when they arrive, what I was just saying. So this end state, the product identity is who your audience believes they'll be after the transformation. So again, just for Lifestart for solopreneurs, since that's who we target, we want them to think at the end, I'm a legitimate business owner. I'm respected. I'm profitable. I can take my family on vacation. I can go to my kids' soccer games. I built a business that supports my life. And most solopreneurs do just sell these features and sell results, but they sell their products as the outcome, not the identity of the people they're targeting. So you need to think of who is your persona at that point, not just at that point they have your product or service. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. 100%. No, like I said, this is that, a little different thinking, and I like it.
Yeah. So I guess, I mean, putting it into your marketing, like instead of saying, are you overwhelmed and struggling? I'm trying to think on this why. I'm struggling with consistency. Instead, you could say something like, you're not inconsistent. You've just built a system that supports that business. Let's say I'm like trying to think of this on the spot. I should have probably prepared an example ahead of time. But
Go to
yeah,
ChatGPT.
exactly. um, but you just like there's a difference between reinforcing a problem and speaking of the process and then finally the outcome and who they are in the long run. But I know I'm on this kick with that conference that I went to a couple weeks ago. But that one of the presenters spoke to this and I was like, I am 20 years in the field of marketing and I hadn't really heard it explained like that. And it really stuck with me.
No, I mean, it's something I'm going to have to process. But I mean, I know, you know, a lot of times the way I think about it, right? You want to go in and you want to hit them with the vision, the outcome. This is the outcome, right? You start with that. That's your banner, if you will, and then you hit them with the pain points, and then you hit them with your solution. But I've never talked about what the journey is going to be like, other than it's going to get you from where you are to where you're trying to go.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. The tricky part there, the thing I want to think about is how that actually fits into a home page or a marketing piece. Because there's an extra piece there and it's got to get put in the right way.
See, Joe, that was the marketing example I was trying to think of on the spot that I should have probably just come up with ahead of time that we could have shared with our audience. So maybe we can do a social post or something about that for after the fact. But I think the thing that people can be asking themselves and the takeaway from this episode is just like, what identity is your audience currently stuck in? What do they want to feel like while they're building, whatever that is for your audience? And then who do they believe they'll be once they succeed? And those three things could really impact your marketing moving forward.
This is as opposed to putting your business name as your H1 on your website.
What? Don't do it.
Don't do that. Don't do that. No. This is how you get people to pay attention and get interested, and then hopefully convert.
Mm-hmm. And maybe stick around for a part 2 where we come up with examples and don't just leave you hanging. And so, yeah, follow our channels and maybe you'll see something on there. But speaking of that, thank you for tuning in and please do follow our channel. Subscribe on your favorite podcast platform, including YouTube. We have so much fun content going on our YouTube channel right now. So check it out. You guys, please leave those reviews. Ideally, those 5-star reviews. But any reviews are so appreciated. It really helps us spread the word. We are ranked 2.5% out of globally out of all podcasts, which is huge. And we're so excited about that. But we have been there for a little bit. And we'd love to see the needle move even further. And those reviews help us do that. And share this episode with a friend. Because like I said, I've been doing this for 20 years and I haven't quite heard the positioning like that. So hopefully somebody else finds it useful. And we'll see you next time on the Aspiring Solopreneur.